How's it going, everybody? Friday is the day. I'll be getting Sunday off, but that's gonna be it. So I'm working today, and then taking Sunday off, and then working the next 4, and then this. So this is a picture that I found of. It's a lava mining facility on Mustafar. And it's always important to do research work. One of the big problems is, and it'll become blatantly evident, is this thing's built on the side of a freaking mountain. So it makes it really hard to, because a gaming table is basically flat, and most of the terrain that you're going to be fighting across is going to be basically flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to do some modifications. First of all, it's always difficult taking something from an angle that it's not really designed for, because you have very few structures to work with to do the change-up, so to speak. But it is very impressive. There is a lot of detail there. There's a lot of interesting elements. And as I was saying earlier, most tables you can't get away with on a few colors. Mustafar is one of those pleasant differences to that rule. As you can see, basically you're working with shades of gray and shades of orange, and it still is just visually striking. So I'm gonna have to do some mods. There's some structural things that I don't really like too much. When you're working with, you're going to see a lot of box forms. There's a lot of box forms, lots of angles, and hardly any curves. And then they use curves for the heat sinks. And thematically, what tends to happen is it tends to, how do I say this, unbalance it. It's like, now you can go half curves and half straight lines and it'll work just fine, or you can do almost all curved lines and that'll work, or almost all straight lines. So I'm gonna run with more curves probably and try and balance this out. I could switch these up and make the heat sinks angular, but that's kind of taking away from the original feel of the plant, and I don't want to necessarily do that. So I'm just going to add in a couple more curves, and it should look much more visually balanced. When I went to work yesterday, I sketched that out to give myself something to work from while I was at work. These are going to be the heat sinks. This is the posts going all the way out to the deck with the heat sinks mounted on it, and this butts up underneath with the that long neck that goes out to it. I am going to modify that somewhat because of things have to be structurally strong enough to game on, and I want them to be a little bit beefier so that figures can move across them. Because obviously I can't build to the size that those were. I mean, those things were huge, and I just don't have that kind of space on my table. This building here, I am designing. There's the front view, there's the side view, there's the neck going out to the heat sinks. And over the next 5-6 days, I guess I'll turn this into a ramble. Over the next 5-6 days, I'm going to try and blueprint out everything. And if there's somebody that wants to follow along, build their own Mustafar mining facility, have at it. The first thing you do is you look at the artwork, and you try and see as much of the artwork as you can. It's got some big, like, space saucer discs that I just really don't like. So I don't think I'm going to make them because they really don't look right. I mean, you've got that with that, and it just doesn't look right. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like a farming habitat, since they're a remote place, and obviously you can't do grow crops on it. But it just kind of looks out of place. So first thing you do is you look at the artwork. Next thing you do is you start sketching some things out. Now you can go right into the planning stage if you want. When I sketch things out, it kind of three-dimensionalizes the set in my mind, the physical process of drawing it out. And by doing that, it makes it shifting it to graph paper that much more easy, because I've got a sense of direction, volume, size, proportion, all those different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this one step at a time. I'm going to plan sections out. And another thing, when you're planning sections out individually, constantly go back and check it against the sizes of the other things to make sure that you're not building stuff out of proportion. Like I said, they had characters running across those big long necks out to those heat sinks, and the buildings I could easily do much smaller. So if I were to do those big, I've got to do the rest of the buildings big. Because the last thing you want to find out when you're putting all this together is that you got your proportions wrong, and everybody kind of looks at you a little bit funny, you know what I mean? Don't want that. So get a sense of scale, proportion, do your sketches, do your drawings, and take care of also when you're doing, and this is important, guys, you'll notice I've got, let me get this back out. You'll notice that I've got like 1/2 inch. So I know that this is a 1/2 inch deep. I've already got the silhouette cut, so I can cut it out, trace it, and physically cut it. And I also have a number. I know every time that I make this, I need 5. Okay, here's the neck. The individual neck piece, the skinny piece, is going to be 1/2 inch, whereas the bigger kind of, I don't know, if you're looking at like a spinal cord, this would be like the bone. This is going to be 1 inch. So 1 inch, 1/2 inch. I need 7 of those. I need 5 of these. Okay, this I didn't write down on it because I didn't know at the time how far it's going to go out. Okay, again, 1/2 inch. I need 1 of these, and I even rough out where they're going to go on it. Okay, this piece is going to butt up underneath here, flat side out, and these 2 pieces are going to butt up into the back here. Okay, so, and then some scales you're going to do where 1 square equals 1 inch. Okay, and then I drew it on here to scale just to be sure my proportions were right. Okay, so there's a kind of an overview about how I go about doing my research, doing my drawings, getting things so that they fit. Because the last thing you want to do when you're building is find out that you screwed up. I mean, it's usually a pretty easy fix, but sometimes they're not. And the last thing you want to do is run into something and find out that you overlooked something. So do your homework, do your research. Like I said, normally I just go with the flow, but with this one, I really liked the imagery of Mustafar, and I want to be a little more accurate than I normally am. So that's it for today, guys. Take care, love ya, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.